recording computer. Okay, it's recording. So if you guys have any questions, definitely drop them bad boys in the chat. I'm gonna mute everybody out because I don't want to hear nobody's dog barking in the background, nothing like that, or anything. Could be dome me out sometimes. But you know, this is keeping it simple Sunday. So what I'm gonna do for y'all on this Sunday, after I run through these pairs that we have open or have been looking at, I'm gonna for you guys, I'm lost right now. Hold up. For you guys that don't know what the challenge is, the challenge is hold up, let me put this on the screen. The challenge is, you know, taking $50 to 10K. So I'm gonna go through some of the trades that we had inside there and see where they at. I just went through GA, which was a call on there. Chef JPY, I updated that one. They should have hit take profit. GU tripping. Let me see. Where'd you use that? GU right here. Oh, we even this already. It pushed up and hit stop loss, but I called this out and I said this is not a signal. So you know, I'm just waiting this bad boy to drop anyway. It hit stop loss. You know, some of them lose. It happens. It happens. This is one that came close to take profit and then turned around, which sucked. But I told you guys to put your stop loss at break even. So this should be no harm, no foul. Now I know people had the question of, if I'm up, should I close my trade out? That is 110% up to you. If your goal for that day is to make like, let's say $50, and you're at $45, and you see that price is starting to turn around and you're going crazy on you, take your $45 and then you can make another $5 easier than you can make the whole 50 up with a $50 account. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to hold a trade and hold a trade and hold a trade. A lot of times people will hold a trade too long and not know when to get out and end up smacking themselves because they're still in this trade. I did not call out NZD CAD yet. I don't think I did. I want to say I covered this one last Thursday on the class because there is not lie. I dropped this in the group chat. So there's a back pattern right here in the middle of this. And let me show you guys where it's at. Bam, back pattern right there. This one right here, I'm gonna go start real quick. This is right there. So yeah, this one here is gonna influence these two back patterns. I dropped this in the group chat, but I did not call a signal for the trade group. It's only up 20 pips right now, so no biggie. Let me see what's like called inside here to see what it did. AU. So AU sold down perfectly for the sell. For you guys who stayed in it, you should have caught 70 pips, 100% all the way down. Honestly, this week, what I'm gonna be doing for you guys, I'm not gonna be dropping like 50 pairs a day because everybody can enter all these trades. So what I'm gonna do is do a nice confident setup for you guys and have you guys do multiple entries on the same trade instead of it being 5 different pairs open. So we all would have gotten in this trade up here, and it wrote down 70 pips to take profit, which is like right here somewhere. And then it missed entry for the buy up. I know some people said they get in the buy up, but mine definitely missed entry. But it pushed up. Yeah, it would have been 40 pips to take profit. So that was a chance for 110 pips on that right there. But it definitely missed the entry. The other one we're in was EU. So EU, you guys definitely should have stayed in this. It is still approaching take profit. Now, this is another example right now. So price is pushed up past 2 trend lines right now, a black daily trend line and a green 1 hour trend line. So it is currently almost 20 pips from take profit, but you should be up 40 pips. So if you're up 40 pips on EU right now, you should be doing good with this. If you decide you want to close this, you can. You don't have to, but if you decide you want to, you can. I 100% understand if you close this trade because you're up pretty big on it. Let's see what else I called out. Like I said, Chef JPY should have definitely hit take profit. Let me see what else I got before I go to these markups. Let me look. GA, I just talked about that already. What we got here? That's AU. This is also AU. I didn't call that much stuff, did I? Okay, so all the trades I called out, basically they all won except for one that missed entry, and then that Chef JPY which one was that? EU, GU, whatever one that shot up to stop loss, that was GU. So yeah, that one was in profit and went to stop loss, but that one broke even, so that was actually no harm, no foul. Now for you guys whose account is lower than $50 right now, I don't know what some of you guys are doing, but over leveraging is definitely a problem because what happens is if you have freaking 9 trades open and your account's $50 and they all like go, let's say they all go into drawdown like right here, your account has to be able to withstand that drawdown. So if it can't withstand that drawdown, MetaTrader 4 is going to close out your trade for you. You definitely don't want that happening. That's why I'm sending out less trades, more entries on the same, on a solid trade. So one I'm looking at for sure, sending you guys soon, is going to be, oops, not that. It's going to be this. It's going to be gold. I have a cipher pattern on gold. Don't mind all these lines. I was showing somebody something the other day. Cipher pattern setting up on gold. Now on this gold trade, there's a lot of confluence going on. Hold it real quick. Let me thin this out and thin this out also. So this gold trade, you guys should have gotten like 2 or 3 buys on gold out of this push up. So what I'm looking at, you see this big bold black line on here? This is a daily trend line. It's a daily trend line. I'm expecting the price to reach up here, tap this joint, or in this general zone right here, tap this joint and head on down, or it might even might even break past that and hit this 4-hour line and then head on down. Either way it go, it's going to reject at some point, and the rejection is what we want. We want the rejection up off there. So don't mind all my 1,000 lines on here, but we want the rejection up off there. That's good for us. Now, I'm gonna show you guys a quick little, little gold markup. I'll mark up gold. Nah, I mark up gold a lot. I can mark up any pair. And while I'm on here, do you guys have any questions about any pairs? Now that I'm on here right now. So I'm going to be covering the ones that I see something on. I'm going to do a quick markup because it is keeping this simple Sunday. So I'll show you guys how to enter a trade, because I don't only enter based off patterns. I enter based off, my trend lines and my level of support and resistance, and basically the eyeball test too, man. A lot of this stuff is eyeball testing, gut feeling. If you can't go with your gut, you don't trust your own trades, I mean, you'll be SOL out here. At some point, you're going to have to trust your own trades. This don't take profit perfectly, which, I mean, this is a pretty small pattern, but I'm just saying, it's still hit it, and that's all that matters. Still waiting on this joint. Let me go back up real quick. Still waiting on this joint to push down under here and keep on going to entry, unless it just says F this cipher pattern and doesn't go to entry. But now that I said that, I am seeing something on here. Hold up real quick. Let me get rid of this too. Let you guys see. Do you guys see what I see? Because I sees it. I see it myself. Hold up. Let me grab this fib tool. Let me see what I got. Yep. I got a good old bat pattern. So if you guys don't see, I tell you guys all the time, the first thing you look for on any pattern, if you think you see a pattern, is the simplest breakdown you can do is an M or W formation. Right here, I have this good old W. Look at that. That W, no bush. Look at that. W formation right there. So seeing that, my 886 up here is perfectly on a level of resistance. Look at that green level right there going across. It was support over here. Support meaning price is on top, and it was resistance all through here, meaning that price does not really want to be up there. So what that's showing me is that when price hits this line, let me get rid of this arrow. I don't want to confuse y'all real quick. I do not want to confuse y'all. That trade hit the 808 but did not close on my phone. Oh, that is lame. Oh, that's lame. It hit the 808 perfectly. It might be because of your spread, man. The spread might have made a miss. That's why I said it depends on your broker, but that joint definitely hit take profit on there. It barely touched it, but it hit it. Let me see. Let me zoom in closer here. Where am I at? Look at that. That's how close it was. This is like a fraction of a pip. So depending on your broker, it should have closed that joint out. This is 0.1 of a pip. How do I know what the question says, how do I know where to put the bottom of the fib? Now, I'm reading this question out loud because people watching the YouTube video won't be able to see the chat. So how do I know where to put the bottom of the fib at? So impulse leg on any pattern, on anything, if you hear somebody mention an impulse leg, what you look for is a hard push in one direction. So this can be an impulse leg right here. This itself can be an impulse leg of a smaller pattern, which I had in the middle. But this whole move itself is an impulse leg. You see that whole push down? That's my impulse. So my impulse started at the top of that green candle, that wick up there, and it ends where price stopped and turned around at. So this whole move right here is my impulse. So impulse leg right there. So what I'm doing is I'm just fibbing from the top to the bottom of the impulse leg. So from right here to down there. Now, for you guys who don't trade harmonics or know nothing about harmonics or nothing about the fib tool, could it be considered a supply / demand as well, considering how strong move down? Yes, it can be. And, you know, we have with supply and demand, these are supply and demand zones, or AKA like these sell zones. Like this zone up here, why I drew this box up? Let me erase this. If I drew this green box up, technically I can draw a box like this all the way across. Oh, not a fib. I can draw a box all the way across this, like this. This is a zone right here that price does not want to be in. That's definitely a strong sell zone. I'll make it orange. Let me zoom out real quick. Load up. Okay, yeah, look at the zone. I'm gonna drag this all the way across. Look at the zone. Look at the void in this zone. Like there is literally only wicks up here. You see price has been putting some pressure in there. It's been tapping it, but it can't stay up there. It's just not staying in that zone. The last time price stayed in this zone, you can go all the way back to, what is this? This is March of this year. This is the last time price was really in this zone, playing around for a little while. And what did it do? It hopped right out of the zone and was playing on top of it. So this whole orange zone I just drew, if I draw it all the way back, how far back did it go? All the way back. This is a zone where price does not really like being at, because most of the moves you see on this chart, like completely, are above or below the zone. Like this right here, tapped, it went straight through the zone, came back straight past it, and then when it came back to it, it tapped it, found support on top of it, and then pushed up. And when it finally came back, it consolidated a little bit, and every time it consolidated in this zone, I know I'm talking fast, my bad. Every time it consolidated in this zone, it pushed right down out of it. Every single time, multiple times pushing out of this zone. And then when it finally got back into it, what did it do? It's now on top of that zone. So think of these, all these lines you see on my chart, which I'm gonna cover in a second, all these 4-hour lines, these 1-hour lines, and these daily lines, they're more of a zone than they are a line. So this orange zone is really a zone where price does not want to play in. And you can see this like kind of clear as day on this chart, that price does not really play in that zone. And so seeing that price is approaching it right now, there's a high probability that price is going to reject off of it. I'm not saying it's guaranteed. What I'm saying is, just looking at how things have been going, price has been rejecting off that zone so much, it's probably going to reject off it again. Even if it's not like a super strong, super huge rejection, there's a high chance that price is going to go from here, hit this zone, and then push back down here. It might go back in the zone, but it's going to reject off of it. Or it should, in theory, reject off of it. Because you know sometimes the markets will play you for a fool. But it's looking like it's going to reject off that zone. So that, I can tell this is a bat pattern on here just by looking at this W formation and seeing that this point right here is not beyond, I'll make this nice and brighter real quick in blue. This point right here is not lower than this point. This middle point is not higher than 618, and it's at least at 0.5. So I'm looking for a bat pattern automatically because I see this touch right here in the middle. So my B point for my bat pattern is from 0.5 to 618, but not touching 618. It cannot touch. If it touches 618, it is a Gartley pattern. If it wicks 618, it's a Gartley pattern. But if price is in between this 0.5 and 618 without touching 618, it's a bat pattern. So just by me doing that one fib, I can tell that this is a bat pattern and where entry is going to be at. The entry is going to be at 886. 886 happened to luckily line up perfectly with my 1-hour level of resistance, which is the bottom of this other rejection zone. So my bat pattern is X to A to B, B to C, C to D. Let me make this orange, so all my bat patterns are orange. Basic bat. I'm gonna hide this cipher real quick because it's not important to the grand scheme of things. But know that if price pushes to this zone and rejects hard off of it, this cipher is still valid. Now, what makes this cipher pattern valid is because as long as this price right here doesn't push up above this C, I'm still good. So I mean, that's how you can have confluence on a pattern, because sometimes price will consolidate and play around before it hits entry. Now, one or two things could be happening here. Either price already made its move and it didn't hit that entry, it's not going to hit entry, and that's fine. But what I do know is there's a high probability of price going to this line and rejecting it, just based off this orange zone up here. So I might be calling a sell on this bad boy in a little while, even though it's pushing pretty hard right now. So I'll wait and see if it hits the brakes at some point. But right now it's pushing pretty hard. You can see that solid candle forming up. So by the end of this class, I'm gonna see where price is at, and I'm gonna see what we have. If we have this, if it looks real good, I'm gonna call a sell on this. Matter of fact, I'm gonna screenshot this and drop this in the little team group chat. I know what you're doing just now, and I'm gonna drop this in the team group chat. Hold on real quick. Let me take a screenshot of this. Matter of fact, let me adjust this. Hold up. Let me do this, which would be sell. And I might call this same line right here the same take profit. Well, take profit again. That's what we're gonna do. I should put my stop loss above this high point, because I know if price goes past this high point right here, this is probably dead. And that's another way you can find your stop loss without even having to fib something out. Now, I know last week, I want to say Steph called out a trade on, let me see what pair it was, and people were freaking out because they went straight to stop loss. That happens sometimes. The issue was that the stop loss was too tight. The trade went perfect, but the stop loss was too tight on it. So what I most times do, I don't know why I can't talk today, my bad, y'all. But what I do for the most part is this trade was on NZD CAD. So what I do for the most part is I want my stop loss to be above a previous high, because I know if price breaks that high, it's going. It's on its way out of here. Let me screenshot this real quick though and drop it in the chat. I have to preface this with this is not a signal now. So I'm going to NZD CAD real quick where it was on. I said people be freaking out when they see stuff happen. So matter of fact, this was the move right here I was talking about. So Steph gave you guys this trade set up right here. It was the sell. It was the sell right here. So she had a pattern in the middle, something like this. I'm not looking exactly like it, but it was something like this. Was the sell. So if I just click on it, what am I doing? What the heck am I doing? Bam. This was the trade setup. So when I say the stop loss was too tight on this, it's because you see how this stop loss, who's drawn on my screen right now? You see how this stop loss is right at this A? The problem with that is price can hit that A and still make a push down, and it's fine. So yes, there is confluence with these two patterns happening here, but there also is trying to keep things above this previous high. So again, I know you guys were freaking out because price hit it, but it's fine. It was divergent, as you guys see. Price is about to drop down, but I mean, the thing was just stop loss was too tight, so it invalidated that pattern. But same thing here. Look at this zone. Let me draw this. Look at this zone right here. What the heck is that? Try this again. Look at this zone right here. Look at when the last time was price in this zone. This is way back. This was August. This was the last time price was in this zone and held anything. So since then, price has been playing under this zone the whole time. Every time it tapped it, it pushed off of it. So what I did on NZD CAD is after that trade hit stop loss, what I did was I entered back in for a sell right here and caught these pips down to right here, which was about here to here. And that's 25 pips. Like I said, it ain't much, but I mean, I had a potential of catching almost 70 pips on this. So her trade analysis was perfect. The stop loss was just too tight. And I'm telling you guys that to tell you that don't get in the habit of drawing a stop loss too tight on any of your patterns you see or any trade you enter in general. You have to give this thing room to breathe. Like a perfect example is if anybody here has had a house built or lives in a newer home that has been built, like I want to say in the recent times, what they do is on the outside, when your house is still being built, they'll have like the roof come over the porch or over the side of the house, and then it'll still be open. So you're like, man, why is this piece of the house open and like bug and stuff can get inside there. And what they'll tell you is the house needs room to breathe. So like, doors are going to adjust, the foundation is going to shift a little bit. So you don't want things cracking. You don't want the house just to split because it's too rigid. The same thing with your stop loss. You got to give everything room to breathe, man. Especially the pairs that be like dancing up and down, like moving back and forth really quick. You don't want to have the thing too tight because you can just tap it and then go the way you want it to go. And when that happens, it makes everybody mad. All work, no play makes Johnny a very unhappy boy. I had a question. What time frame do you do your patterns on? I do patterns on the 4 hour, 1 hour, and sometimes the 15-minute. But it's mostly the 15-minute and 1 hour though. Now you can do time frames on a daily. Main thing with that is, so I do this pattern right here on the 4 hour. I am kind of impatient when it comes to me wanting to see my profit and see my money. So what I do is I rather do my patterns on the 15-minute and 1 hour because I know it's a higher chance of it completing sometime today than in a couple of weeks. Now, sometimes there are pairs that take forever and a day to complete. Like this joint right here, I drew this pattern on October 19th. It didn't complete until October 30th. So the whole time, it went through all this dance in the middle, and then it finally completed and pushed down, which is very annoying, but you can't time when you think a pattern is going to complete. It's going to do what it wants to do regardless. You're not in control of that. What you are in control of when you enter the trade and when you exit the trade. So with this sell right here being drawn, this sell was drawn way back on October 19th. All I know is that no matter what, when price gets to this sell point, I'm selling this. Like, it don't matter if it hit there tomorrow or if it hit there 10 days later, if it hit there next month. When it hits that, it's going to drop. Another example of that, Bitcoin. I don't trade crypto too much, but I drew this pattern right here on the 4 hours. I saw it. It's an ugly godly pattern, but it still played out. Now, this happened on September the 23rd. It was the completion of this pattern. This pattern was drawn in August. It didn't complete until September, and it didn't take off until a month later. So that's a month between the first when it was drawn, then a month to entry, and then a month to it actually taking off. And that took forever. Like, I don't want to ever be in a trade for 3 months. I don't like swing trading. That's not my thing. That might be some of you guys' thing, but I don't ever want to be in a trade waiting on a pattern to complete for 3 months. The one I waited on the longest recently was probably this big gold Gartley on this big yellow Gartley on gold, because I had so many patterns in between this. Like, in the time of this pattern being drawn up, which is probably like over here somewhere. This was October 25th. It completed on November 7th. So this whole time, we were selling down. We got 2 sell out of that. We got to buy off of this. We got to sell off of this. So we had 5 moves in between the completion of this trade. Actually, 6 moves. Here's a sell over here I called out too. The completion of this move, and then a buy from here to there. And this gold made me mad because it missed take profit by 1 pip. But that happens sometimes. But in between all of that, there's one. Well, this one is dead actually. Let me erase this one. It wouldn't count. But there was 1, 2, 3, 4 patterns in the middle of this one big pattern, and they all went off. Like, they all did exactly what they're supposed to do. So we go to basic that. Even though this is a Gartley, my bad. Let me go back to basic Gartley. Bam. So there's a Gartley right there. Let me ghost one here out. Hope that music isn't too loud in the background for you guys. If you guys can hear it or not. Let me ghost this out. Expired pattern. And let me do this one too. And if you guys notice, I trade the Gartley pattern a lot. It is my favorite pattern. I mean, it works. So, it does what it does. It does what it's supposed to do. Another one. So in between that one big pattern, I had 1, 2, 3, 4 patterns, and I had a head and shoulders call right here. So that's another pattern right there too, head and shoulders. We had that buy up from this buy zone. We had a sell up here somewhere. Ray called a sell out up here. There was a big sell drop off right here, which was all a part of the plan because we know this pattern had to complete. I called a sell right here too. Now, if you guys wondering how the heck do I know when these sells and buys are coming? Even if I didn't have a pattern on here, If this is your first class with me, you might not know what these different colors mean. So every black line on here was drawn on the daily time frame is the daily level of support or resistance. Every gold line is a level of support and resistance drawn on the 4-hour time frame, and every green line is a level of support and resistance drawn on the 1-hour time frame. I don't draw anything on a 15-minute. All these diagonal lines are they're just trend lines. I go trend line galore. That's my trade style. That's what I like. And they work a lot on gold. So by me knowing how my trend lines work, and me knowing support and resistance, I see that again, gold has this zone too where price does not want to be in. Right here. Look at this. Last time price was up here was in September. And all after that, it's just been tapping and dropping, tapping and dropping. When we got up here again, what did it do? Tap and drop. When it faked everybody out, it came up here and it tapped and it dropped. So again, that's a strong zone where price does not want to be at. And at the bottom down here too, I know there's a lot going on in this chart right now, but bear with me right now. All this right here too. This zone is also a zone where price does not want to be at in gold. So by me knowing I have these two zones where price does not want to be at, I know there's a high probability that when price gets down here, it's going to reject off of it. Now, we were expecting price to get in here. When it finally gets in here, we're expecting the price to drop. And how do I know this again? Because there's no level of support in any of this right here. Yes, levels over here, but in recent time, there's no levels all in the middle here. So it's not really strong support here. So when price goes, it went. It went for the gusto. So it dropped down. But I did know every time price tapped this zone, it's the area to buy in. But at some point, it had to break down. Another thing you can do too, if you know how to do your support and resistance, and if you don't, drop it in the chat, and I can draw it up for you guys and show you guys how I do it. But seeing that all this movement right here is happening, these push-ups, these push-downs, let me make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see, and I'm changing it from blue so it stands out a little bit. All these push-ups, that's not a good color. Let me see, hold on. There you go. Make this thicker. All these push-ups and push-downs, all in the middle of all this. This is basically just price just riding in between these two zones. It's just riding the channel the whole time. Look at that, it's just riding the channel. Tapping off trend lines, riding the channel. So when price finally got down here, remember what these black lines are. These black lines are daily levels of support and resistance. They hold weight. They hold more weight than a 4-hour, aka gold line, or a green line would. So that's why they're color coordinated for. So I know that once price got under this daily level right here, is dropping. Just like here, I knew. Let me pose the arrow right here now. I knew that once price got momentum, you see it tap right here. That's a lot of momentum going up. Once it got past this level, it's going up. Because once it's up there closed solidly, look at that long wick. That's a big fake out wick right there. That's a news wick. Once that new price got on top of this daily level, that it's going to go up because it needs momentum to bust back through this thing. So when it gets down under there, I knew it probably was going to stay. Now, same thing here. I knew that when price got under this daily level, it's going to drop. When it closed under there, and look, it fell off the face of the earth. So by me having all this information and just taking what price is giving me, I know that when, let me erase this box now. I know that there's a high probability that when price finally gets up here to this black line again, it might wick again like it did over here and then drop because it needs a lot of momentum to bust through this. Now, if news hits and gold just goes straight through the top of that thing, like it just blows the roof off of that, don't hop into this trade because the next level of resistance it has is there's a 4-hour zone here, but there's another daily level here and the bottom side of a trend line. So that's another spot for price to get a hiccup on and have to stop. So, excuse me. So there's a high probability that price can either hit this and drop, but if it closes above this, it might hit this and drop. But it's going to reject off something. It's going to be one of these two zones. More than likely, it's going to be this one because price has not been playing well under here, and now it's finally under here. And so it's going to need some real power to get back above that. And I hope that made sense to you guys, just looking at what price is giving you. I got so much crap on this chart. It's ridiculous, but it's all for explaining sake. I'll go back and erase this stuff later. It doesn't matter. This ain't even my main chart. Now, if you guys want me, you said made super sense. Well, good. That's how it should be. That's how it should be. So USD/JPY, I was going to call a sell on this, but I did not call a sell on this because it was divergent. I don't use the RSI, so I don't really do divergence and stuff. But I saw that price was going to drop. So this is how I utilize trend lines and level up support and resistance. Again, I go through every time frame, well, daily, 4-hour, and 1 hour, and I draw these levels of support and resistance. And note that Every black line, be it horizontal or be it diagonal, it is a daily line. So I have a daily trend line pushing up here, right here. This is big. I'm gonna make it bold real quick so you guys can see it. This is a daily trend line right here. Now, I showed guys this on my last class, well, one of the classes before. What price likes to do is it likes to pick a side and play on that side. Think of this as a fence. You know, like you ever seen a dog, like, you know, be at the fence the whole time and just barking at the fence and they can't get out. And then when they finally get out, they just run wild. Think of this daily trend line as a fence. So this is your fence right here. This is your fence right here. All this action has been happening on the left side or upper side of this fence. All this action, let me hide this pattern real quick so it doesn't throw you guys off. I'll ghost it out. Bam. So all this action has been happening on the left side of this fence. Same thing was happening here. All this action was happening on the left side of this fence. You see what I mean right here? All this action right here is on top side of this gold trend line. Let me make this one bold so you know what I'm talking about. All this action is happening right here on the top side of this gold trend line. Price likes to play each side of the fence. So once it's on that side, it's going to be on that side, especially once it breaks heavily and retests it. Now, the break and retest is one of those bread and butter moves that everyone should get an eye on, like get an eye for, because it happens so much. So this is why I use so much diagonal trend lines, because look how price, when it broke this side of the fence, it broke that daily line right there. It pushed down and people are like, oh my God, US dollar is going to fall, it's falling, it's falling. But what did it do? It found support on the daily level right here. And then it pushed right back to this trend line. Now it's playing this side of the fence now. So that break and retest is a chance for you to sell again. Because it's not a high chance that price is going to reject off this and then blow up here and blow straight through a diagonal daily trend line and a daily level of resistance. That's two things that has to try to break through right there. And there's a higher chance of it rejecting off that than there's it blowing straight through it. So like the smaller green trend lines on here are just the same big trend line, just copied over, because price follows those same trends at an angle too. So I'll show you guys how that works too. But you see how price is playing each side of the fence. It finally broke it and it came right back to that fence. Like it came right back to it. So now all this action is now taking place on the bottom side over here. And I hope that makes sense to you guys too. Look, all this action right here was on the top side. Even this wick over here, this is all the top side of the same trend line. And then price finally broke it, retested it, and now all this action is on the bottom side of this trend line. So these are all sell opportunities right here. Because again, price is going to need some momentum to break back over this fence and be on the upside of it, if it even does it. Right now, what I'm seeing though, on two different time frames, well, two different things, looking cross-eyed. Again, look at this. All this action right here, this is a completely different thing. All this action right here was on the bottom side of this daily level of resistance. Now, will this be recorded? Would love to go back and study this knowledge. Yeah, it's on my YouTube channel. I'll put it up in the morning. All this action right here is on the bottom side of this daily level. Now, look what happens when price got above it. Price broke it, retested it, pushed off, but it's still stuck under the diagonal trend line. So again, it's a lot to take in, I know. And there's a lot of different things I'm looking at, but it's just so much information being given to you. How can you ignore it? So now price is technically on top of, I know there's a lot of squares and colors, but you guys know what I'm saying, man. Price is on top of this diagonal, on top of this level of support. It broke it. Now it's right on top of support. It actually just rejected off support again, but it's riding on top of it. But though it's on top of this support, it is under this diagonal trend line still. So basically price is doing this right here. It's doing one of these numbers. It's getting bigger and bigger until it decides to, you know what, I want to break through one of these fences. So it's going to break up and play the top side of this again, or it's going to break down and play the bottom side of this now. It's going to choose a side. It's basically just price choosing the side. It's going to have to choose a side. It can't just keep on like going this way forever and ever, because price is going to keep having to make bigger and bigger lunges back and forth. Imagine yourself standing on two pieces of wood that are floating in water, and then just drifting apart slowly, farther and farther. You can't keep hopping back and forth, but so much for one of the pieces of wood is way too far for you to jump on. So you have to choose a side. If you're going to the left, you're going to the right, you're going up, or you're going down. And this joint has to choose a side. It has to make a decision on what it wants to do. And I'm here for it. So let me erase these triangles so I don't confuse you guys anymore. But you guys see exactly, yeah, the market definitely loves balance. It can't just keep doing like this forever. Because imagine if prices did just kept on doing this, right? These moves go from being, this is a 40 pip move. This will go from being a 40 pip move to it having to bounce up and down. Oops, wrong thing. To having to bounce up and down 100 plus pips. And that's 140 pips right here. Now imagine if it keeps doing that. It's gonna be at some point where it's just pushing up and down, freaking 200 plus pips. And the market definitely does not want to have to be stuck in a window of 200 pips bouncing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It does not want to do that. And I can probably go in here and show you guys multiple, I don't got a lot of lines on here. I can probably go in here and show you guys multiple examples of price playing the side of the fence. And it's funny that it plays the side of the fence diagonally and horizontally. That's why I have diagonal trend lines, because imagine if I didn't have this here. Imagine if I did not know what a trend line was. I'm just gonna erase this real quick. Imagine if I didn't know what a trend line was. I would have no idea why price is moving up higher, higher, higher. I would just think that, okay, price is on top of the level of support. One of my biggest mistakes I made when I first started trading was that, okay, I learned support and resistance pretty fast. I'm like, okay, I know support and resistance. All that means is that when price pushes to a level, it's going to stop and turn around. Now, all my new traders know that. That is not how that works. Price is not just going to push to a level and stop and turn around. That ain't going to happen at all. Price is either going to push to a level and then bust through it. You're like, what the hell happened? You wonder why it bust through that level, and instead of it turning around like you thought it would. That ain't how price works, because there's more going on than just support and resistance. There's a lot of things going on. So by me seeing this diagonal trend line and seeing how it's being respected, it just lets me know that there's a high chance that price will come back to it and push off of it. So now that I see that, even if I don't have a pattern on here drawn up, or if I have a head and shoulders, like I have, I'll draw it real quick. You got head and shoulders, which I have on this right here. If this is ugly, don't mind. It's gonna be ugly. It is what it is. Then I have a head and shoulders right here. The head and shoulders, oops, that's crooked. Doesn't matter. But the head and shoulders doesn't have to be even. But you guys get what I'm trying to draw. It's ugly, but it makes sense. Let me just drag this down. Bam. Head and shoulders right there. You see it? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. At a head and shoulders, you expect price to drop off at its endpoint. And you see it dropped off. Now, by me knowing that, there's a high probability that price is going to go to this daily level or this 4-hour level. Why is that? Because that's where price was at before. The previous low right here was at this 4-hour level right here. Now, again, think of this too. Price has to try to get momentum to bust through this daily level of support right here. Well, yeah, of support. It didn't, so it hit it and it turned around. By me knowing this, I can now set my take profit in the general zone of this daily level. This is another way you can set your take profit. By me having seen that price is playing this channel, my take profit can now be down 70 pips, because I know there's a high chance that price is going to touch this level and either it's going to reject off it or it's going to break through it. Either way it go, I don't want to get greedy. I don't want to get overly risky. That way there's actually a pretty safe trade to take, because you have a head and shoulders and you have a pretty strong level that prices has been respecting. So just giving you more and more information on what can possibly happen. Because again, we don't know the future, but we do know probability. And we look for high probability trades. So that's why if you guys ever see me drop a trade in any of the trading groups, it's because it's a high probability trade, and that there's evidence that this could probably happen. There ain't no guessing out here. Everything that we do should be calculated. Like every trade you hop in, there should be a rhyme and a reason for it. Not just, oh, I think I see something, or price should do this because it's level of support or resistance. Nah, there should be a rhyme and a reason to everything, or every time you hop into a trade at any point. But this, let's see where we at right now in Chef JPY. I said I was going to look at it before the end of class, and it is 8:48 right now. I've been talking straight 45 minutes straight, yapping away. But you know what's crazy? I've been doing fibs so long, I can bet you that that 786 is right here in this general area. Because if this is 886 at this sell zone, I can bet you this is 786. Just because look how price is waking off of it. How price has been hitting that zone and turning around. So let me drag this real quick. Look at that. That's perfectly 786. Like that's one of those things like time in the market will definitely help you a lot. But just by me eyeballing that, I can tell you that was 786. I can bet you this right here is probably 886 down here. If I fib my A to B like I'm supposed to. Oh, 786. It was close. Look at that. It's in between 786 and 886. But see, that's just one of those things of how I can eyeball it. It's how I can draw a bat pattern with one fib. Because I can just eyeball and be like, okay, I know this is in the right zone. But again, that goes with time in the market. I know a lot of people don't want to do time in the market. They just want the answers to just somehow magnificently, I can't talk. Is that even a word? They just want the answers to pop into their head. And that ain't how this works. You can't just learn this off osmosis. It's definitely time on the charts, and it's definitely getting on classes like this and just live sessions and taking heed to what's being said. Let me look through real quick, see what I see. I did not drop you guys this trade, but if you're in my other trade group, the money team, this pattern was dropped in here way in advance for you guys. So I mean, I didn't drop it as a signal. I just dropped the pattern like, hey, you guys can take this. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I can show you guys the advance. And some of you guys are in the PYP group. And where is it at? Right here. Bam. Look at that. We were in advance for the buy. And the play out. Look at that. Now, again, with this, we do not know the future. The reason I did not drop this for you guys, yes, the pattern was complete. But I did not like how hard it pushed down under my daily trend line right here. Remember what I said about price playing each side of the fence. I did not drop this as a signal because I want to do high probability trades for you guys. This one kind of faked out on this side, playing the bottom side. Let me grab my triangle real quick. It kind of faked out on playing this side. And then it came right back up to the side and was playing on this side. I could have definitely did a buy stop on here, but this has been more of a buy limit thing because price was not at buy yet. But you see our price is now playing this side of the fence, and it went right to take profit one as it was supposed to, as expected to. But again, I didn't want to drop you guys this and have a stop loss of 50 pips on it. That's too much. So I didn't drop it. I don't want you guys to be freaking out about this stop loss. Now, on the flip side of this too, more information. This is a quick little information thing for you guys with this trend line. See this right here? By me knowing that I have that there, I didn't want to drop this trade for you guys and have price shoot all the way down there. I didn't want price to do this. Let me change this from yellow. I didn't want price to do this and then go up. Because people are really going to be freaking out when their stop loss was actually 70 pips down, but that was a real entry. I didn't want price to get into that channel and start like, dancing its way down until it got to real support right here on this daily level and then decide it want to go up. At that point, it's too late. You're too deep in the game. You're too deep and negative on that trade. And we ain't want to do that around here. Again, we want high probability trades. We ain't guessing out here. And I ain't trying to risk nobody's account, not even mine. So yeah, this one was dropped in there, but it wasn't dropped as a signal. So I didn't want you guys to be stuck in a trap of price channeling down while you're in there freaking out. Let's see what else we got before I hop off here. This joint here has been playing everybody and still is. EU still doing this thing. So anybody still in that trade, you guys should be doing pretty well. AU, same thing. This joint, let me see what GU is doing. Yeah, GU, the take profit was down. Well, this one was dead. Yeah, this right here, I dropped this. It's not a signal though, but this is still valid technically. It didn't hit stop loss, and this whole red zone here is for the cipher pattern. So let's see what that does. This one is on the horizon also. Again, I did not drop this as a signal yet, but this NZD USD, I have a bat pattern, which is an orange pattern right here. I have a bat pattern formed up on here. Now, I have a lot of confirmations on this trade. I just haven't dropped it as a signal yet because it's kind of far off from being what I want it to be. So what things that can possibly happen on this trade? It might fake us all out, and it might go up here. Still valid as a head and shoulders, but invalid as a bat pattern if it goes up here and then pushes down. Another chance of things that can happen. Price, since it's already making the C point on this orange bat pattern, this could be the sell. Now, with this being the right shoulder of a head and shoulders, this could sell down here, pop back up to where B, like probably somewhere in this general area right here, pop up here for this buy, and then take its way down here, back to this level right here. That would complete the head and shoulders completely. Now, that would complete the head and shoulders and complete the bat pattern. And it would also, more confluence the better. There is another bat pattern right here in the middle. So, bam, oops, wrong thing. There's another bat pattern right there in the middle. So this is all confluent. That's 1, 2, 3 patterns right there. That's a head and shoulders and 2 bat patterns right there that need to be completed. And that can complete all of them. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be safe on this. Since we already missed the entry on this bat pattern right here, and I don't want anybody being on a drawdown, I'm not gonna call this trade out until price is down here for the buy. And then when it rejects, we're gonna sell this again, probably in this general area. We're gonna sell this again up here somewhere. Let me see, I got the zone right here. It'll be up here somewhere. We're gonna sell this thing again. So you're gonna look up for this NZD USD trade because this buy up, it's only 20 pips, but 20 pips is pretty good. And then when price approaches this line again, this 63388, we're gonna sell this joint. We're gonna sell stop this all the way down to, what the heck happened? All the way down to this 4-hour level of support, which is 62614, which is about, let me measure over here. It'd be about 75 pips down. So you see how we can freak that if it does what it's supposed to do. That's all what it's about, man. It's it's about market mastery. That's what the company's about. It's part of the name. So you're definitely gonna freak this when it gets down there. Like I said, I would sell it now, but I didn't see this till Friday, and it was already like right at the point of about to drop. I want to say I probably dropped this in the group chat also somewhere, but I didn't drop it in the signal group. And is this right here? Come on, NZD CAD, NZD USD. Okay. Let me see. This is the thing. I don't like you guys be stressing about trading. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I first started, I used to be stressing about trading, but now it's more of a fun thing now because you have the knowledge and you have the know-how. Once you use the knowledge and know-how on this, it comes more of a game than it is something you're stressing because either you're gonna win or you lose. Either your strategy is gonna win or it's gonna lose. Think of it like chess. You have all the information on chess in the world. But if you don't implement your strategy, you're still gonna lose. And I mean, that's just what it is. Like, that's how chess works. It's all part of the game. Yes, I did drop this in one of the chats right here. This is before I had the other pattern and stuff drawn up in the middle. So the pattern right there wasn't even complete yet when I first drew it up. But yeah, that's all this right here. So don't worry, we're definitely gonna freak that joint. It's coming. Let me close this out real quick. Get off of here. Let me see. This thing is, you can't see the top of the screen, but it's right in the way for me to close this out. It's like blocking it. There you go. So that was the original markup I had, and this is where it's at right now. So we're definitely still good. We have confluence with a lot of patterns. Can you draw a GBP AUD before you hop off, please, sir? Let me see. GBP AUD. Let me see where we at. So GBP AUD. Yeah, I covered this when I first got back on. I know it shot back up to break. Oh, this is still here from last time. I know it shot back up from entry to basically break even. I still want this joint to drop. It's still valid. I didn't tell you guys to close it out and nothing like that because it's still valid. It's nowhere close to stop loss. It's nowhere close to the C point. As long as this point doesn't get up here above A, we're good. That's why my stop loss is right above A. Because I know that if price pushes up here above A, it's going to be invalid. Now, yes, there are 2 daily trend lines coming up. You guys see it right there. Price has been ranging in between those. And technically, there's probably a third one right here, too. If I copy this, that was crazy. If I copy this down, another one right here. Same trend. See the 3 touches right there. I can move this up a little bit. See the touches right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches on this joint. This actually was a jump off point for this right here. So this, again, is still valid. Look at my take profit. It was already out already. The third trend line I wasn't even drawn yet. But I'm looking for price to finally get under this and play that side of the fence. Meaning, look for price to break this again, because it already broke it, but it pushed back above it. But I'm waiting for price to break this again and then start heading down. When it starts heading down, there's not a lot of support in the middle here. This is all just consolidation. Price ranging down through consolidation. That's all it is right there. And so me seeing that, I know there's not a lot of support in the middle of this. So when it gets in here, this bad boy should be melting. So we, in theory, because nothing in trading is 100%, in theory, we should still be good. Let me zoom way out on this and see what we got. So what's funny about this too is, if you look at this, when the heck was the last time price even in this zone? Like, price didn't even play up here. Price does not like this zone that price is in right now. So that's why I expect when it gets in here to drop down. Now, this could be it going for new highs. Because you see, this whole time price wasn't in this zone. It got in this zone and pushed back out. Right now it's in this zone. Now, for price to really go for its highs, it might not even make this back pattern. It might not even complete it. And if it doesn't, that's fine. But if it does drop down and hit take profit one, we good. Because if it hit take profit one, we're still at a pretty chunk of pips right there. That's pretty much, that's a lot of pips right there down. That's just take profit one. Take profit two is almost double what take profit one is. So what I'm probably going to do is, when this joint drops like I want it to, like it should be doing, I'm probably have you guys put your take profit probably like way down, probably not take profit, your stop loss way down here with take profit. If it decides to do this, let's say it gets in here and it ranges for a second, hits that, and then comes back up here, I'm probably gonna sell this joint again, and then it finally gets momentum to break and retest this one. When it breaks and retests this, we definitely on. Because right here, I'm gonna be ranging there again, and then probably pushing down. Now, if price goes stupid ham and just does this, I mean, nothing we can do on that, because that can happen. That definitely can happen, especially with all this Brexit news happening. So a lot of GBP pairs haven't been doing what people thought they were going to do because all the Brexit crap going on. But look at price being squeezed right here. And you wonder what I mean by that? Let me zoom in real quick before I hop off of here. I'm going to zoom in. Now, this is the daily time frame. Each one of the candles is a whole day. This is essentially almost making a doji. You guys know what a doji is. It's when a wick, the wicks are basically even on each side, and price is kind of flat in the middle. It's not really doing anything. Now, what it has done since the market has opened, yes, it did close down here on Friday. And I opened it up, it's up like 40 pips. Now, what price is doing is basically, it's kind of flattening out because it hasn't made a decision on me yet. It was below this trend line, and now it's above this trend line. Now it's below entry, but it's still above the trend line. Just like how I was showing you guys in the other pair when price was squeezing and ranging, this one here is kind of squeezing, but it's not really ranging. So when it gets in here, I expect it to fall. So as long as that joint gets on the bottom side of this again, we should be good for a go. Let me go to an even smaller time frame. So this is where we closed out on Friday. I was talking to Lamar, who's on here right now. I was talking to him on yesterday about how far I was up on this, and I came in here and it's all the way up here. Slapped me in the face. How dare they slap me in the face like that and embarrass me in front of my friends? But yeah, you still want this joint to drop down. You see, it hasn't made a decision. It's been playing around with some ugly wicks, some ugly candles, playing around. Oops, did not mean to erase that. I'm trying to erase this right here. There you go. It's still playing around. It's pushing up, pushing down, playing around. So we're gonna see what happened to that, because it's right at entry, but it has not broken entry, because this entry level was also a level of support that became resistance, and also resistance that became support for a little while. Right here, all resistance. Right here, support. Right here, support. Now it's looking like it's resistance. So if this joint drops back under this black line, we should definitely be good to go. Now, any more questions before I hop off of here? Now, if that is, it says, thank you. You're very welcome. Very welcome. Now, if there is no more questions, I'll be hopping off this joint. You know, I will see you guys in the group chats, and I will definitely see you guys on Thursday. So I do this on Thursday too. So I appreciate you guys being on here and do my little video for my Instagram real quick to show that I actually do teach the class, you know, answering questions on here and, you know, trading. That's what we do. But I will see you guys in the group chat and on Thursday. I'll holler at y'all. And this will be on my YouTube channel probably tomorrow. Let me end meeting. Have a good one, y'all.